So hey guys, you're enjoying your morning walk along the beach and all of a sudden this happens. Imagine what would be going through your mind. You think, am I hallucinating? But you look around and everybody else is seeing the same thing. Welcome to the channel where your input and imagination is really important. Here in the comments we can create our own little think tank, so let us know in the comments how you think an alien invasion would go down, and then we'll pick the best idea and make another video of it. So make sure to hit that notification button. But this is what we've come up with. Our planet, a shimmering blue jewel in the vastness of space, has always been a place of extraordinary life. We had connected our world with invisible threads of communication, allowing ideas and voices to travel across continents in the blink of an eye. We had, for a brief moment, become the undisputed masters of our own small corner of the universe. Just 10 light years away, in the gentle glow of a star not unlike our own, a different kind of intelligence was watching. From their home world, the beings we would never know had observed Earth for centuries. Their technology, far beyond our own, allowed them to see our world with astonishing clarity. They were not explorers in our sense of the word. They were not driven by curiosity or the desire for contact. They were planners, surveyors, and ultimately, colonists. Their interest in Earth was purely practical. It was a world rich in water, with a stable atmosphere and a diverse biosphere, a perfect new home. They watched as our population grew, spreading across every continent, our concrete cities replacing green forests. To them, these were not the actions of a sentient species to be respected. They felt no malice towards us, but they also felt no kinship. For generations, they learned our languages not to speak with us, but to understand our weaknesses. They analyzed our biology, our social structures, and our dependencies. They saw how we were intricately linked to our planet. Their own star system was aging, their resources dwindling. Expansion was a necessity for their survival. And Earth, this vibrant, living world, was the perfect candidate. They would not waste energy on a frontal assault. Instead, they would employ a far more elegant solution. The idea of destroying infrastructure, of leveling cities with explosive force, was utterly illogical to them. Why ruin a perfectly good planet just to remove its inhabitants? One does not burn the entire garden to the ground. Instead, one uses a selective herbicide, something that targets only the unwanted growth while leaving the soil and the desirable plants unharmed. Humanity was the weed. In the sterile, silent laboratories of their homeworld, they had our complete genetic code, mapped and understood in a way we could only dream of. They identified a set of unique protein receptors found only on human cells, a biological signature that separated us from every other species on our planet. This would be their target. Their goal was to create a pathogen that was not just lethal, but perfectly contagious. It needed to be airborne, to travel on the winds and cross oceans. It needed a long incubation period, allowing it to spread across the entire globe before the first symptom even appeared. It was not a virus in the way we understood them, but a complex, microscopic organism, part fungus and part synthetic biology. Once inhaled, it would lie dormant in the host's body for weeks, silently replicating in the lymphatic system. During this phase, the host would be perfectly healthy, a carrier spreading the agent with every breath. The delivery method was as subtle as the pathogen itself. They had no need for missiles or bombs. Instead, they dispatched a single, small and stealthy probe. It entered Earth's atmosphere unnoticed, a tiny fleck of dust among the countless meteorites that burn up every day. The probe released its payload at high altitude, a fine, invisible aerosol that was dispersed by the jet streams. The spores, lighter than air, drifted across continents, slowly descending into the air we breathed. They fell into our cities, our towns, and our countryside. The release happened on a Tuesday in early spring. No one noticed. The world continued its frantic pace, oblivious to the silent seed of its own extinction now settling in its lungs. In New York, a banker inhaled it on his way to work. In a remote village in the Amazon, a child breathed it in while playing. In Beijing, a factory worker took it in with a gulp of city air. Across the globe, In a matter of days, the pathogen had found its hosts. The first cases were dismissed as a strange, aggressive form of pneumonia. It began in scattered, unrelated locations. A patient in London, another in Tokyo, and a third in Buenos Aires, all presenting with identical, baffling symptoms. They would feel a slight fatigue, followed by a fever, and then a sudden and catastrophic shutdown of the central nervous system. The complex systems that sustained our civilization faltered as people simply vanished from their posts. Power grids failed, water supplies stopped, and the internet, our global nervous system, went dark. There was no one left to run the power plants, to repair the lines, to maintain the servers. In the final weeks, the survivors huddled in their homes, listening to the silence grow. The voices on the radio faded one by one. The broadcasts on television were replaced by static. The world fell quiet, a stillness that was more terrifying than any scream. The end was not violent. There were no riots, no wars for the last scraps of food. In the end, there was just the silence. The last human on Earth died alone, perhaps looking out at a sunset, unaware of their unique and tragic status. In the aftermath of humanity's silent departure, the Earth began to heal. Without the constant hum of human activity, a new kind of sound emerged. The sound of the planet itself. The wind, whistled through the canyons of empty skyscrapers, playing a kind of mournful, lonely tune. 5 years after the Great Silence, they came. Their ships did not tear through the sky with fire and thunder. Instead, they descended as gently as falling leaves, their advanced propulsion systems making no sound at all. They were vast, organic-looking vessels, shaped like seeds or polished river stones. They downloaded the entirety of our digital legacy, our books, our music, our films, our science, and stored it in an archive, a footnote in the planetary record. They emerged from their ships not in armor, but in simple, functional suits that protected them from any lingering microbes of our world. They were tall and slender, with limbs that moved with an unnerving, fluid grace. Their first actions were not of construction, but of observation and cleansing. Small, silent drones, like metallic insects, swarmed out from the ships, spreading across the globe. They were surveying the planet's health, measuring the purity of the air and water, and cataloging the thriving flora and fauna. They also performed a final sweep, a process of sterilization. They systematically disintegrated the billions of human remains, leaving no trace of our physical existence. Their task now was to cultivate it, to shape it gently to their own needs while preserving the inherent beauty that had drawn them across the stars. They did not level our cities to build their own. Instead, they began to integrate with what we had left behind. They used our strongest structures as scaffolding for their own architecture, which was grown rather than built. Biologically engineered materials fused with the concrete and steel of our skyscrapers, reshaping them into towering, plant-like structures that hummed with a soft internal light. The buildings became living things, covered in alien vegetation that harvested sunlight and purified the air. Looking back from a cosmic perspective, the story of humanity is a sobering lesson in significance. We lived our lives with the profound conviction that we were the universe's main characters. We built civilizations, we waged wars, we created art of breathtaking beauty, and we pondered the very nature of existence. We felt love and grief and hope. We believed that our consciousness, our ability to ask why, made us special. We looked at the stars and saw a canvas for our future, a frontier to be conquered. We never truly considered that, to another form of life, we were simply a temporary geological feature. Our importance was a concept that existed only in our own minds. In the grand, silent, and indifferent calculus of the cosmos, we were simply a variable in an equation of survival, and we were the variable that had to be removed. What then is the meaning of a species? Perhaps it is not about dominance or permanence. Perhaps our legacy is not in the monuments we build or the empires we forge. The universe is vast and ancient, and the lifespan of a species, even one as loud and ambitious as our own, is but a fleeting moment. We were a brief, brilliant flash of light on a small planet, a flicker of consciousness that burned brightly before it was extinguished. The universe did not notice our arrival, and it did not mourn our departure. Our story serves as a silent reminder. significance is self-proclaimed, and in the face of true cosmic indifference, it means nothing at all.